What's up, YouTube? Welcome to MustyYeti's Tactical HQ. Well, today's going to be, I guess, the first part in the ongoing process of figuring out what is wrong with my AR pistol. If you guys remember back in the last video, I was having a bunch of misfires. It was feeding just fine, just failure to fire and failure to extract. So this is going to be the first part in a series of videos where I'm going to try to address the issue and get my pistol running properly. The first step, and one of the easiest ones to do, is going to be upgrading the extractor spring. And I chose to go with the BCM Extractor spring upgrade kit. That includes the spring and the O-ring. So that's going to be upgraded to the bolt. I'm not sure the technical term for this model, but this is made by Wolff. It's their overpowered spring, so it should help the hammer fly forward a little bit stronger, contact the firing pin, which would hopefully stop my light primer strikes. Along with that, when I bought the BCM Extractor spring kit, I also got a new firing pin. It was a few bucks. I figured it wouldn't hurt to get a new one and see if that addresses the problem I'm having. So let's just go ahead and get into this thing. Alright guys, so the first step to this is going to be taking apart your bolt to install the new spring. So I'm just going to use the firing pin that I have just to get underneath this thing and pull it out. Nope. Okay, so let's get all this junk out of the way here. Alright. Okay, so this part's actually pretty easy. All you're going to need to do is tap this pin through releasing the extractor. Now you're going to want to pin this extractor down when you do it and knock that pin out so it doesn't fly off and you lose any of your parts or anything. So taking it out is the easy part, but putting it back in is the tough part. I've seen people use table vices. I'm just going to use a pair of these locking, look how old these things are, locking pliers, and I have an old belt that I cut up to use the leather. I'm going to put that between the bolt and the pliers so it doesn't mar it up or anything to pin that down, knock that pin back into place. So let's just let's see how easy this is to tap out. I can just push it through. Okay, so that's that easy. Now I'm going to slowly let this out. There's your extractor, the original O-ring and the original spring. And let me see if I can get a close-up of this so you guys can see the real difference here. Alright, so we got everything broken down, and on the right here you can see the old set of extractor O-ring spring, and you can see that there is a big difference between the springs here. This bigger spring is going to allow more tension on the extractor, hopefully helping grab the rounds and pulling them out. The O-rings, to be honest with you, look the same. I don't know if they're supposed to, but yeah, the big difference there is obviously going to be the springs. So let me see if I can back this out just a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is just get the old stuff out of the way so we don't mess that up. Just a matter of taking that little plunger there, sticking it in the bottom of the spring. I'm going to just do it off camera here so I don't screw it up. Okay, and then we're just going to take our extractor, going to stick it back in here. Hopefully it stays in there. Hold on one second. Alright, there we go. So we got it. It will make a little audio click when it goes into place. So it's just a matter of putting the O-ring over the spring, hopefully. Alright. Now it's a matter of installing it back onto the bolt. So give me 1 second to set up my pliers and leather and I'll be right back. Alright, so we've gone ahead and taken the pieces of leather that we cut off of my belt and I sandwiched it between the locking pliers and clamped down the extractor. And let's see if I can bring this thing closer and get this to zoom in. So as you guys can see, it did a really good job of clamping the extractor down where you can see completely through the hole now. And installing that pin should be pretty easy. And I guess I should mention too, guys, while I had the extractor out, it was pretty gunky in there, so I cleaned it out. I suggest you do the same. So we're just going to take our trusty pin here and hopefully just tap it back into place. Let's see, this might not work so easily. The only bad about not having table vise is you can't clamp it down. You're going to have a hand to pin it. And I don't have a small rubber mallet. Tap this sucker into place here. Let me just do this off camera, this will probably be easier. Alright guys, so we got the pin installed. It was actually really easy, just a little hard to do on camera because I don't have a third hand to pin things down and hammer into place. To be honest, the hardest part about installing the pin was getting it centered on the bolt, which wasn't difficult in itself, but hammering it in was super easy. So let's just go ahead and take off the pliers here. Get this stuff out of the way. Alright guys, so as you see, the pin is installed. Like I said, the hardest part was just getting it centered on the bolt here. But that was the BCM Extractor spring upgrade kit. Super easy. Anybody can do it with just average tools, nothing special required. And it should help out a lot. I have some friends that actually do this upgrade on every one of their rifles. Doesn't matter if it's a pistol or not, or if they're having issues. They just like having the upgraded spring. So that'll be something to look into if you guys just want added reliability. But that's all done. Pretty easy. Next part's going to be installing the Wolff overpowered spring, whatever this thing is called. I might not do this on camera just because I've already showed how to install a lower parts kit, and I'm sure you can see it online. It's going to be pretty boring. But we're going to install this next, and we'll see where we stand. So let's hold on. Alright, so I've gone ahead and removed the K2 pistol grip from my lower receiver. Now guys, be careful when you take out the pistol grip that you don't let this spring pop out, bend, break, whatever. So make sure you are aware that when you pull this thing down that there's going to be a spring in the detent, so don't lose the detent either. So we got that out of the way. I'm not going to lie, I did try to change out my Ambidextrous Safety. I contacted Roger over at Battle Arms Development and got a badass Battle Arms Development Ambidextrous Safety selector, but I can't get this off because the screw got stripped. So I'll have to figure that out later. That's not a big deal right now. I just want to make sure this thing's functioning properly, so that can wait. But we got all out of the way. So now we're just gonna. I've already started knocking the pin out to get the hammer out to install the new spring. So just gonna hold this thing down. Where's my punch at? I believe it was this one. Gonna hold this down, just push this pin the rest of the way through, and that is all she wrote. Now guys, I will warn you that I did have the Magpul BAD battery assist device, so I did have that on there. You do need to remove this thing to get that pin out. That pin is centered directly on this lever, so keep that in mind. Alright, so we can go ahead and just set this guy up here. Make sure we don't lose this. Give me 2 seconds. Alright, so here is the hammer and the old spring. As you guys can see, it is installed properly, and it doesn't appear to have any damage. This is my third lower parts kit to install, so I don't think I did anything wrong this time. Nothing different than I did before. We're going to go ahead and switch out that spring. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and remove this guy. I'm going to keep it because I can almost guarantee this spring is just fine. Okay, so there's the hammer. Let me just get it wiped down as well while we have it out. And now we just got to track down the, are we in focus here? I think so. Let's just double check. Alright, so here we go. This is the hammer that I have been using this entire time. We have the new spring here from Wolff. So what we're going to do is you want it having this edge of the spring riding right along this. So you're going to go ahead and install this on here. I'm going to do this off camera, guys, because I don't want to, on this round, I definitely don't want to damage this because I want to make sure that the spring, I can eliminate that as an issue for my malfunction. So I'm going to just pop this thing on camera. Just remember, guys, you can manhandle these things. You don't have to baby them. I'm going to get it on here. I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so there we go. We got it installed. Pretty simple, just like it always is. Just got to pop it on there. Like I said, don't be afraid to manhandle it. So now I'm going to go ahead and slide this thing back into the lower receiver. Going to pop the pins in, and for round one, that's going to be all we're going to do to hopefully fix my AR pistol problems. So I guess we'll just keep my fingers crossed till I go shooting again. Hopefully this fixes it. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, so we got the new Wolff spring installed, and guys, that thing is no joke. It was a battle to get this hammer installed, pin it down enough to get the my punch through to hold it in place, and then push that pin through. So the tension there is definitely a lot stronger than on your average spring. And I gotta say, first, when you guys get done with this, you should check that, make sure your trigger works, the hammer goes forward, the safety works, and that you have a good crisp reset. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna put it on fire. Never let the hammer just fly forward. Pull the trigger, let it go back, listen for that reset, pull the trigger. I gotta say guys, with that new spring too, that reset is way more audible, and I can definitely feel the feedback more in my finger. So we know that works. Go ahead and put it on safe. Make sure the trigger doesn't work. So we're all set to go. Alright guys, that's about it. Again, this is a pretty easy install. The BCM Extractor spring upgrade kit is super easy. Anybody can do it. This is pretty easy as well, but it does take a little bit more time. And like I said, you just gotta be aware of those springs and detents, make sure you don't break or lose anything. I'll go ahead and annotate over here my video of how I install a lower parts kit, and also on this side over here, I'll install a video from, I think it's CMMG, of how they install lower parts kit. It's just a good visual. It shows really good angles, how you can get it done. So guys, that's about it. Hopefully we'll stay tuned and we'll have this AR pistol running smoothly in no time. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave in the comment box below. As usual, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.